What's going on, everyone? Mr. Mama Collectibles, Ryan. I'm back with another odd Sunday live stream. I don't normally stream on Sundays, but I did it because we have a special guest, someone that I will say on my list of people I've always wanted to have a conversation with. This gentleman that is on the screen with me is definitely up there in terms of one of the people I really want to have a convo with. And we have here the Star Wars guru himself, TK421Collectibles. How are you doing today, sir?
All right. Cheers, Ryan. Brilliant to be here. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
I appreciate it. And this is your first live stream, so we're keeping it easy, right? You're really, for the most part, like an official kind of.
Well, I did one live stream on my channel ages ago.
That's
but,
right.
I never touched it since because I didn't have the setup really. Still don't.
That's right. All right. So, the purpose of this conversation for those who are going to be watching, we got people trickling in. Like I said, if you're watching this live, it might be too early. It's 11 a.m. my Eastern Standard Time in the United States, and it's 4 p.m. your time, I believe. So, So for those who haven't seen it, maybe we'll catch it on the replay and clip it up and repost it later. But the purpose of this conversation is just honestly, collectors just want to have a conversation. TK and myself we started talking on Instagram a couple months ago, commenting on our videos and stuff like that. So building up a nice conversation. And I just kind of was like, hey, listen, you want to do a live stream? And we were trying to get one in the works for a couple of weeks, just schedules conflicting a little bit. So we finally were able to nail something down. Yeah. So we're able to get something going. We'll have a conversation for like an hour or so, see how it goes, and just kind of breaking the ice. I got questions for him. He's got questions for me. So we're going to jump right into it. But I want to see who's in the live chat first. I'll bring up some comments. We got Stevie131 with the little eyes there. So he's waiting. Lane Kramer saying the mom man cometh with a Hot Toys Star Wars discussion. Yeah, we'll see how about that. Payton 23, hello everyone. Payton, I hope you're doing great. Some guy, let's go. Can't wait for TK421. That's right. Tom Daly saying Sunday fun day. And let's see, TX Boy 210. Yo, morning everyone. Random live stream. I'll take it. Yeah, I had it in the works for a little bit, so I'm trying to put it together. Agent Silver Fox, hi guys. Hope you're all well. My Outlaws are arriving soon, so I'll need to watch most of it on replay. Yeah, no problem. Like I said, it's just Sunday morning stream. It's not. I don't stream as much anymore just because of family and stuff, so it's hard to squeeze one in. But we're gonna make the most of it. So TK, I want to jump right into it. I got a couple bullet points I'll put on the screen to kind of help formulate. But right off the bat, we kind of started talking about it backstage. Collecting Hot Toys, the beginning. I've been watching your channel. I watch a lot of reviews and stuff like that, especially the new stuff you're putting out. And then I dive back in and I watch the old. And I blame you personally blame you for your review of A New Hope Sand Trooper is what pushed me over the edge to buy that one. I chased that one before I think it's going to jump up in value on the secondary market. So I got to ask you, and I'll let you talk, so I'll shut up. Collecting Hot Toys, how did it start? What was the first one? And, I see everything behind you now, but kind of real, just a little cliff notes of kind of where it began for you. And if you remember what the first one was and that whole experience.
Yeah. Like we were saying backstage, I only got into Hot Toys fairly recently, to be honest, last couple of years. But obviously the collection's kind of expanded pretty exponentially over the last couple of years. I think because of, it started in COVID. So over the years, like 20, 30 years, whatever, been collecting everything, anything, nothing, no kind of focus really. So, I had Black Series stuff. I had these little 1/10 scale figurines, like, I don't know if you know the company, but Eagle Moss used to be.
Yeah. I remember those
Alien and Predator things, just like random stuff like that. So, and then I just thought I need to kind of zone in. So, what's my favorite fandom? Obviously, it's Star Wars. And then I thought, let's go with Hot Toys because they look the best. I don't know whether anyone in the chats knows of anything better than Hot Toys for Star Wars figures. If you do, I might swap my Hot Toys out. But so that's pretty much where it started. And then because of COVID, I thought, we'll just.
Do you remember your first one?
I think it was Kylo Ren.
Really?
Force Awakens, Kylo, yeah. And then I had like Luke Skywalker, the Endor one. I had him on pre-order then.
Wow.
And then it just kind of went on from there. And I obviously buy backwards quite a lot.
Yeah. So, I would say for me, My first one was an Iron Man figure die cast. That's why it was really interesting. And that was a big question I'll ask you about the C3PO. I don't have that one, but my first one was the Iron Man, the Mark 43. It's from Avengers: Age of Ultron. That was the first one I got die cast, and like so that's a doozy to have a die cast as your first Hot Toys figure.
Yeah.
That's so that's another question I'll ask you. Because just kind of off the cuff. What was your perception like? Because I was really excited to see your C3PO review because I think that was like really I'm still learning Hot Toys Star Wars, but like I think that's like really the first diecast Star Wars Hot Toy is 3PO. I mean, I think they've done other diecast ones. I think R2 or something. So don't correct. I mean, no one murder me in the chat specifically, but I know like really they don't mess with a lot of diecast and stuff like that. So
Mm.
your expression, you're like, whoa, the box and everything. I was like thinking in my head, like that's what you get with a lot of Iron Man figures. But
Right, yeah.
is your perception different at all seeing it like doing a reaction of it, like when the photos first came out and then seeing it in hand, like the C3PO, like seeing it, because like you see a diecast figure online, like we all do reactions, like, oh, it looks great. But then when you see it in hand and hold it, the weight of it, it's like night and day difference. So, I mean, that C3PO seemed to get you really excited when you got that one because of being all
Yeah.
diecast pretty much.
Like you say, I didn't know what diecast, or I didn't know what diecast meant, but I hadn't had anything as diecast as that. The K2SO's got a bit of diecast on it, like just the legs, I think. I mean, someone called me out in that C3PO video saying, "Oh, it's not fully die-cast. Why are you saying that? You're going to piss people off." I think.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was kind of like quite excited about it because I hadn't, like you say, I've never had a fully die-cast figure. So yeah, I was amazed by it because it was the weight of it. Like when something weighs heavy, it's quality.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I was just blown away by the quality of it, and I know the face isn't die cast, and obviously it's not 100% fully die cast because it's got lights in it, so they're plastic, aren't they? Obviously, and LEDs and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I think Kumar, I don't know whether you know Kumar, but he
Yep, I
said
do.
if it's over 40%, then it's classed as a die cast figure.
I think it's between 30 to 40% overall. Their
Yeah,
class is diecast because even Iron Man figures, they're not. I'm looking at them.
exactly.
It's diecast sprinkled out.
But not
I remember the percentage. I think the percentage is 30 to 40. Yeah, but he's right about that. He can know more. But yeah, they can classify it with diecast on the label just because it's not. I don't think it's realistically possible having a complete diecast figure. Otherwise, it's going to be ridiculous. But we do got a question.
In the video, it's fully die cast, but I think people kind of knew what I meant. It's the torso and the arms and the legs
Correct.
are die cast.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I was blown away by it.
So let's see, Lane Kramer, thank you so much, Lane. You're always frequent in all the chats. He has a question, which I want to answer this, but I want to touch on it because this actually segues into something I do want to get more into with TK towards the end of the stream. But he does have a question that says, so I have a question for both of you. How do you feel about pieces like the Dewback? Do you like them? Are they almost, are they, if I could read, I'm sorry, I'm like really tired. I've been up for a minute. Are they almost too big for you guys to want to collect? Are there any other Star Wars that you want to see? I would say partial of that we could save because it's kind of a question that I have at the end of it to kind of wind down the stream. I will say though about the Dewback, not to spoil it, it's one of my top 3 most exciting pre-orders for next year. I'll say that. I do have a question for TK where I want him to kind of let me know, and I have a list up for you guys like to kind of spoil it. I'm gonna ask him like basically what are your 3 most popular, like what are you most excited for next year? 3 pre-orders that you're most excited for. You don't either you pre-order them now or you're gonna pre-order them. What are the 3 pieces you're most excited about? For me, I'll spoil. One of them is the Dewback. It's original trilogy. I missed out on all original trilogy when I started collecting. So when I saw that, I jumped on it day one. Like it wasn't even day one. It was like minute 1. I pre-ordered that thing. Like it was like it couldn't have been faster. So that's me. And then TK, if you want to answer,
it's a tough question. Out of 3 out of like I think.
The 3 we'll save for later. But about the Dewback,
okay.
like what do you think about the Dewback? And
Dewback, yeah, that's definitely my top 3 as well. It looks amazing, doesn't it? I know it's not 100% a New Hope though, is it? Because it's got that kind of firm on its back at the where the saddle.
I hear people talking about that. Yeah, like I'm not an expert. I hear that the back isn't like 100% accurate, but I'm not an expert to go back and.
I don't know if you can take that off or what, but I mean, it just looks amazing, doesn't it? And the Sand Trooper as well, getting another Sand Trooper Sergeant, and the droid rings as well that you're going to get with it.
So I'm a little crazy because I ordered the Dewback Deluxe, so it's the Dewback and the Trooper. and then I ordered 2 extra troopers. So I have 3 total troopers, a dewback, and then I ordered the original New Hope Sand Trooper commander. So I have the orange culture. So I want to recreate the scene of him holding the ring, which a lot of people are going to do. And in the background, just have another trooper and then one on the dewback. It's insane. It's like, don't follow what I do. I'm nuts. I'm crazy. So don't do what I do.
I'm trying to get every variant of the troopers. So I think I've done at the minute, to be honest. I've got obviously the Sand Trooper with the orange pauldron. The commander's got the orange pauldron.
Yeah.
I've got the Jedi Patrol with the orange pauldron and the black pauldron and the white pauldron. So yeah, there's a lot of troopers to get in there if you're buying back and stuff.
Yeah, and also Lane had a question, which is kind of ironic because I think you're kind of answering it. Where he goes, also, what do you are there? What do you say? How do you feel about pieces like the dewback? Do you like them? Are they almost too big? And when he says, "Are they almost too big?" Well, you got 2 boxes sitting behind you, my friend. That kind of answer that question that we talked about behind stream. So I think that kind of answers the question about larger pieces. You're kind of answering the question right there, my friend.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Obviously, I want bigger the better. You know, I wanted that. I think they did the Naboo Starfighter, didn't they? And a 6-scale TIE fighter, and what was the other thing? The
Jazz Inc.
Yeah,
well, Jazz Inc. just announced the Jedi Starfighters that they're doing 1/6 scale, which are going to be like insane.
I've just got no space, to be honest. Like these bark speeders, I don't know where they're going to go. So I think I kind of want them to do bigger stuff, but I also don't because I can't get them potentially.
Yeah.
And like the Death Star kind of.
The gunner station or the command station.
Exactly.
I already know if they do that, I have to buy 2 of them because I actually my Star Wars is getting where I'm going to separate this shelf right now. Behind me is everything I own Star Wars, but I'm eventually going to break it out where this will be original trilogy and below here will be like the Disney Plus Star Wars stuff. So I plan on taking 2 gunner stations and putting them at the corners. So it's kind of like making it an immersed. I mean, it's once again, I'm insane. I don't.
But the round because the round, I don't know where it would go.
You could probably fit one. Yeah, it's an awkward size, and I always tell people, Hot Toys is testing our space and our budgets. You just gotta be prepared. They're seeing how far we can go as collectors. But Lane, it's a great question, and we'll kind of circle back on that towards the end. And then I also want to touch on this gentleman right here, Beskar Kid, giving you a shout out, saying the best Star Wars unboxings and in-depth reviews. And that's so great because Beskar Kid, I think that you're the GOAT of the 60-second reviews. So the GOAT of the 60-second reviews, giving some kudos to the GOAT of the in-depth reviews. So it's it's nice. So Beskar Kid, thank you so much for
because Beskar Kid gets them in so fast as well.
Yeah, he does, and something for him, kudos because I know Beskar is just all Star Wars, and if I was all Star Wars too, I'd be getting them in. I'm starting to dabble in getting things sooner than later. Like I think we talked about how I'm downsizing my Marvel. I think I'm kind of coming to an agreement next year that anything Star Wars, I might go more towards day one because I love Star Wars Hot Toys so much that I might go day one on Star Wars and everything else I'll just sit and wait. Like I'm not too worried about that. So let's see what Stevie131 says. They need a Bantha and a Tusken Raider. Yeah. Well, where are we going to put them though? That's the problem. But yeah,
there is a third party Bantha, isn't there? I can't remember who does it now.
Yes, there is. There's reviews out there. There was one that someone made. They did like a limited run of like 300, I think, or something like that. I forget who's doing reviews on them, but yeah, that thing is massive. And I
think it's the same company who did the Wampa as well.
Yes, you're right. You're right. 100%. Some guy giving some shout outs. Go support TK421 or YouTube channel. For those who don't know, I think at the top of the live chat, I actually pinned it. I pinned both, and I'll put it in the description. Like after the stream's over, I can go back and edit the description. I'll drop all the links in there. But I did pin them at the top of this chat if anyone can see them. I put your YouTube and your Instagram. I know, and also congratulations. I know it's trying to, you hit 2,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. You're a little bit over that, so well deserved, my friend.
Thank you. You're not far behind though, are you?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm plugging away. I'm changing up my content a little bit and focusing more on like videos and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not doing as much live streams anymore. I basically want to do live streams when they matter and like this, like important stuff. I used to live stream like the weekly news and stuff like that, but it's kind of redundant, I guess you could
Mm,
say. So my
yeah.
focus is making more like opinionated videos that
Mm,
people can watch and hopefully take benefit from. But yeah, no, that's absolutely. I'm just having fun. I'm doing stuff
yeah.
like this with you and just making content. That's what it's all about for me
I
right
mean,
now.
your Instagram's really kind of big as well, isn't it? I mean, some of the
Yeah,
photos. I
yeah,
didn't
doing photo.
realize it's
I
amazing.
slowed I slowed down on my photography a little bit, but yeah, I got to get back into doing photography. It's hard with the weather.
Mm,
Especially there's some stuff that I want to do some photos of outside before it gets really cold out. So I'm trying to run
yeah.
outside and do some more photos. But I've been slowing down on the Instagram, but I do have to get back on top of that. But
Yeah.
Andrew says TK421 top bloke. Thanks for this live stream, Mr. Mom. Of course, absolutely. I'm just like I said, just trying to have a fun conversation. And Rusty Bronco, I'm day one on anything original trilogy, newish Star Wars, holding my powder.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And TK421, congratulations on 2K. That's from Big Dog Pound One. Absolutely. Give you a little boo there. Appreciate that. Um, so we kind of talked about that. And I guess that kind of segues into something I kind of want to talk about. You know, we talked about Star Wars collecting. That's kind of where we are. Like I said, you said you started collecting, which surprised me. You said you started around lockdown, which it seems like, I guess because you said the collection kind of escalated. It seems like you've been around a lot longer than that, which there's nothing wrong with that. It just seems like, you know,
Mm.
because you have so much stuff. But like I said, it happens. Like my collection grew, not to, you know, I went from one. I think I have almost a little over 100 figures. You know, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But between the pre-orders next year, it's definitely like every year my pre-orders get more and more and
Yeah.
more. But like Star Wars collecting, like in your opinion, since you started, and I know you do a lot of backwards and stuff, is this probably the most exciting from Star Wars that you've seen in terms of the stuff that they're putting out because of the content with the Disney shows and branching out from aside from like a real original prequel and sequel? Like besides those, is this like for me? I think this is the most exciting time for Star Wars collecting, and even from the figures I know they made in the past, just because I think there's so much content, and so that obviously leads to figures like Ahsoka, for example. Like I'm scared to know what we could get from Ahsoka because they just
Yeah.
look so amazing. But like in your opinion, like do you think? I mean, like, and you know, you're buying the old stuff. Do you kind of see that this is a great time to be a Star Wars collector, or you still think that there was a better time before, like when they were more focused on like the trilogies and things like that?
Yeah. It's tricky that because obviously my allegiance effectively is with the original trilogy. So all them
Yeah,
figures. Considering how old some of them are, they're getting on for like 10 years old. They are amazing. Obviously, the newer figures have got better technology behind them and stuff, and they're looking, the face sculpts and everything are looking like amazing now, aren't they? Like when
yeah,
you've got the likes of Fennec Shand and Cosca Reeves and stuff. So in that respect, the newer figures, it's an amazing time to start collecting these. But
yeah,
for me personally, I think the original trilogy stuff is still the best stuff, just because what it means as a part of the, the films and everything, because I grew up watching them. So that
yeah.
was part of it. I wanted them represented in the collection as like the priority, basically.
I'd have to ask you then. I had this question locked up. Do you
Not
prefer
yet.
do you prefer prequels, original trilogy, or sequels? I know you're a New Hope person. Like I know individually movie wise, I think you said New Hope is your favorite movie.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah.
overall, is it original trilogy, or do you have kind of an appreciation for the prequels, the
Oh,
sequels?
I've always loved the prequels as soon as they came out. I know
Yeah.
they got slated, didn't they, to begin with? I just couldn't understand why.
Mhm.
I kind of cut myself off from all the negative feedback on them. So, but yeah, original trilogy number one, then prequels, and then sequels.
Kind of get the same. Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
the best, but yeah, I
That's
like the new Star Wars films, aren't they? So
I,
they were
I,
new.
rem- I remember, like for me personally, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Right.
It's my favorite. Then I'll go A New Hope and then Return of the Jedi. Um, However, and it's because of Hot Toys. Um, I do love the designs. If it makes sense, I don't know if this makes sense. I love Empire more than New Hope, but I do love the original New Hope designs of those characters. How they're not perfect. There's obviously flaws. Like Darth Vader's outfit isn't. It gets perfect as the movies go
Yeah.
on up to like Return, where it's okay. It's like shiny. It's
Yeah.
polished. It's like, but I do love the mismatched design. Like I like another video I watch, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. I'm not trying to blame you for anything, but I am blaming you. I almost had a deal in place, after watching your video, because I do, because to give credit to Beskar Kid, I'm not trying to like obviously like, oh, he's sucking up to, but the reality is your reviews are very good on certain things. But like I tell people, if you want Star Wars reviews, go to TK's YouTube channel, because you're doing you're doing a awesome mix of old, new, and it's pretty much guaranteed any popular hot toy you've done a review on it one way or another. Especially right now, you're kind of doing a retro kind of going back and looking at the New Hope figures. So you're giving an updated point of view or new to figures that maybe people haven't seen. And so one of them that you did I don't know recently, but is the New Hope 2-pack Stormtroopers.
Yeah, that was quite recent. Yeah.
When I watched that review, I actually hit up somebody and got a price for one that I buy from Australia, buy figures from, and I had a deal in place to potentially get that 2-pack. I was going to do it. I'm still going to do it, but the problem is Hot Toys dropped a lot of pre-orders. Like they dropped RoboCop, they dropped the Doc Ock, they dropped Peacemaker, Electro, and I have all of those on pre-order that should be coming in soon. So I had to dial back on the backwards collecting to get I want to make sure those are taken care of, but I am going to go after, because I love the New Hope Stormtrooper design. That's my favorite Stormtrooper design, is the New Hope. And I didn't notice it until your review. I really didn't pay that much attention about the height difference, about how they're kind of a little bit taller and shorter to kind of, you could pull off the Han and Luke look a little bit. So I didn't notice those details and that just made me like it so much more, where I was like, I really need this. I really need this in the collection. I have one Stormtrooper right there, which is the Mando Stormtrooper, was it Commander or whatever it is, with the pauldron. I took it off to make it look like a regular trooper. That's the closest thing I have to a Stormtrooper, but I do love the New Hope Stormtroopers. So I definitely got to get those eventually, but I did tell the guy, Jeremy, shout out to Jeremy from Jeremy. I'll put his info in there. That's where I get some of my figures from. I can't think of the name, because I reached out to him personally, so I don't actually, I feel bad because I owe him a proper shout out. His name is Jeremy from right here, Plastic Hero Collectibles. He's based out of Australia, so he bought, pre-order, but I got some of the old stuff. I have a New Hope Obi-Wan coming from him, and I also have Jeremy Casa. Jeremy Casa. Yep. But his website is, thank you, Daniel. Plastic Hero Collectibles is his Facebook page. I'll link that in there. But I got a New Hope Obi-Wan from him coming, and the Sand Trooper. I got both of them from him, and I hit him up. I was like, hey, can you get the 2-pack, and had it in place, but I'm waiting for it. Yeah, I said 2-pack probably once or twice. 2-pack, 2-pack. Sorry. But anyway, moving forward, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Star Wars is some of the best stuff right now, and this probably moves into the main portion of what I want to talk about with you specifically, because you've touched on it through our conversation, is how do you prioritize your collection? And I know this is talked about with the collectors a lot, because people, they use the words like, I'm prioritizing this over that. I'm downsizing this for that. You're all Star Wars. And I know you keep making points like, I don't know where I'm going to put this. I don't know where I'm going to put this. So when I say prioritize your collection, I mean, it obviously mean multiple things, like space. Like, are you ever going to has ever getting rid of the detofs crossed your mind and doing like shelving, like what I have, or a module case or like that? Like, has getting rid of detofs ever crossed your mind in terms of prioritizing?
Yeah, that was something I was going to ask you, to be honest. Like, are they module cases that you've got in the background there?
No, these are like the garage racks. I bought these from Walmart online, so I paid like $60 for these, and then I just like put the panels up myself. So all in, this display rack behind me, this is 60 inches wide by 24 inches deep. This one, that one cost me all in about $100 between materials, lighting, and the rack. So I built it myself. Yeah, this one here, right here, which has like the DeLorean, that one is a 36 wide by 24 deep. So I have two, and then I have space on the other side for another one. So that's how I prioritize. I used to have detofs though, and I got rid of them. I had 7 or 8 of them across this back wall. I had 8 of them, and I got rid of them completely. So I jumped on it pretty quickly and made the swap.
I've heard people say that the detofs are beginner sort of collector display options, but obviously I've been collecting a while, and I do kind of like them because you can get, I don't know, you can get a lot on a shelf and it doesn't look too bad. I mean, Kumark is in the chat. I don't know what it is, but he's amazing at getting like 5 or 6 figures on one shelf, and it doesn't look crowded somehow. I don't know how he does it, but I think my issue with that is, with not an issue, but just space wise, The depth of like what you've got in the background
Mhm.
there, I just think it'd make the room even smaller. You know what I mean? I would
Mhm.
just be like sat like in the middle, surrounded by like right close to me shelving. But yeah, I'd be able to get more figures then. So I don't know. It has crossed my mind. I don't want to go down the Moducase case route really, because just the lead times on them, and they're really, really expensive
Yeah.
to to the UK anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that's kind of playing on my mind a bit really. I mean, it's good that you get. The only thing I'm worried about is my collection, but so that's kind of good in a way. Yeah, it's just trying to figure out what the next move is, because I don't know, to be honest. I've got no space. So
Yeah. Especially when you have those big pieces like those bark spears behind you,
yeah,
that whole situation. But, yeah, I had like I said, the back wall here, I had 7 Detolfs, I believe, and
mm,
I personally never like to have more than, like depends on the figures, but typically, like,
yeah,
3 figures per
yeah,
opening. I like to let the figures breathe and be able to see
yeah,
them crowded. I try doing risers and things like that, and so I know that, and that was during 2020. I was buying them up. I think IKEA was selling them for like $70. So I'd go
yeah,
pick up like 3, go pick up 4, go pick up. Oh, I need another 2. I was buying them and keeping them in my garage just for the sake of like I need to put another one up. So I'll just go out the garage. I was buying them in advance because it's just,
yeah,
and then because I know they ran into a lot of shortage issues with the DTOS, and now I think they're
yeah,
over 100 and something dollars now. They're US,
yeah.
so they're
They've
up there.
discontinued them as well, haven't they? So you won't be
I
able to
think
get them
so.
anymore.
Yeah, and then I was actually seeking them on like Facebook Marketplace, like trying to find
Mm,
like who's got DTOS for sale and stuff like that,
yeah,
buying them and
I've got a
selling
lot
them.
of mine off Marketplace for like free. People just giving them
Yeah,
away.
they just want to get rid of them as long as you like, hey, you come pick them up yourself, they're
Exactly.
yours, and
Yeah.
that's what I've done. I've driven and picked them up. So,
Yeah.
what TX Boy says, Maji cases are overhyped, overpriced, and the wait times are horrendous. My wife
Mm,
is still waiting about a year and a half for more lights, bro. Lights. I mean, I can't deny, like I've seen collection tours with the Maja cases and they look gorgeous. It's honestly just preference. I mean, if you have these I will say, if you have these collections are worth money, yeah, they should be displayed as nice, but everyone has their own budgets and things like that. And the one thing I'll say is if you're spending $2,000 on Maja cases, I mean, you could invest that money into something and buy more hot toys.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
it also depends on how handy you are. Like I said, I built this myself. The rack itself was built as is, but I used plywood for the backer boards, matte black
Mm,
paint, and I just used lighting. That's all it was. And I mean, if you guys look, I did a couple little, like I did a Star Wars video, and you can see the back. And I'm not trying to pretend that it's a modular case. Oh, it looks, it just fits my. And then what I did was I built wooden risers, so like you can see the Star Wars. There's like 1, 2, there's 3 levels there. So
yeah.
it's just maximizing. And what I'm trying to do is forecast what my pre-orders are, and like, oh, I got a dude back coming in. I got to figure out where, like, I don't ever want to have that problem of like, where's this going to go? Like,
Yeah.
I think we talked offline. Like, I have, you know, I have 2 Batmobiles coming in. I have a Jazz Inc. Batmobile and I have a Hot Toys Batmobile. So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to pre-plan. Like, I'm insane, as I told you, but, so it's just, yeah, that's it. But then when it comes to prioritizing Hot Toys, like you're all in on Star Wars. Has there ever been a time? Like I commend you for your ability to like not stray the path and you just stick to Star Wars. I know there's a lot
Yeah.
of people that do that, and there's a lot of people who are like, I'm just
Yeah.
Star Wars, or I'm just Marvel, or I'm just DC. Like how is it that you do? Is that just something that kind of rolls off? That's not even a thought to you. You're like, hey, I'm just gonna buy whatever Star Wars I get. And I mean, is there any
Yeah.
time that
Well,
you have to like fight that struggle, so to speak?
I think part of it for me is that if I'm collecting like Star Wars, I want to collect the whole line. So like original trilogy, I've obviously collected the whole line. I couldn't do that if I was going to branch out into Marvel. I couldn't collect the whole Marvel line as well. Just
Yeah.
got no space for it. So I think it was easier just to zone in on Star Wars, prioritize on that, and then not go off track onto other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. That Rusty, about getting them professionally made. I
Hmm.
think it
Yeah.
made a
Absolutely.
good
No,
way.
yeah, absolutely. And if you're handy, you could definitely make something of your
I'm
own.
not.
If it's just
Oh
well, yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I'll admit I'm really not either. It's just time and it just takes time, and it just like I said, that's kind of the thing about it, is that it over time just tests your you got to think about stuff and figure out what works best for
yeah,
you. Um, Pablo
yeah.
says, "Hey guys, don't know if this was asked. TK, always reviews on Star Wars figures and they're incredible, but is there one that you didn't get?
Always
Always review Star Wars figures and they're incredible, but is there one you get? I'm assuming he means you know, is there not a Star Wars figure that you didn't get?
Yeah, there's a couple missing, like Rogue One, Darth Vader. I've had that in hand and I wasn't too impressed with it, to be honest. So,
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the New Hope one, I thought. So there was that I've not got. Death Trooper Specialist Deluxe from Rogue One as well. I've not got that one because I picked up the Mando one, and that seemed to be okay for that character. And I think that's it really. Other than that, I didn't get the that Grogu set either. I didn't feel the need to get that with it was just Grogu in a crate and the Loth cat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. I didn't get that.
I remember it all too well when I passed on it. Like I didn't give it much thought.
Yeah, I've got enough Grogus. I don't need.
I was going to say too many Grogus. Here's a good question for you as a Star Wars person, and I got some. How do I phrase? I got a little bit of flack in the comments about this, and this is about the Doc Ock figure. I did a reaction on it because I talked about the Doc Ock, which I have on pre-order. I'm invested. The No Way Home line is kind of my swan song to Marvel, where that's kind of where I'm drawing the line on Marvel. And going forward, I'm just very super selective on pieces I want. So I'm collecting the No Way Home line and then kind of cutting it there. I admitted that I day one pre-ordered the Doc Ock figure, but I wasn't happy with the head sculpt. A lot of people weren't because the head sculpt didn't look right. But I still said I'm still getting the figure because I need that representation in the collection. And Hot Toys kind of put us in a situation where you're never going to get another version of that character. So I said that, hey, as a collector, I kind of feel like I'm taking a loss on it, not financially, but just for the fact of it visually doesn't look fully like him, but I'm still buying it. So people made fun of me like, hey, why are you still? But I was trying to explain like Hot Toys does that with one-off characters where are you really going to, you know, pass up on this over that? Is there a figure that you own that you got it in hand that you were excited about, but then when you opened it and you still have in the collection, you're kind of like, it didn't really like, I'm kind of like I can point out like 2 or 3 of mine that I can say like I was really hyped for it. And then when I got it, I was just kind of like, yeah, it's not what I kind of thought it was. Do you have anything that rings a bell really? Or are you really satisfied with everything that you have in terms of the Hot Toys figures?
Yeah, I'm generally pretty happy. It's funny you say this because my latest video coming out in the week is going to be the R5 D4 R5 D4 set, and that is probably the only figure where I was kind of a bit underwhelmed by it. To be honest, I just thought it's not that good. This I know that's completely not. It's not got obviously no head sculpt and stuff. The other thing was but I watched that video and I kind of understood where you were coming from, and I don't know why people didn't quite understand where you were coming from with it. Because I've got figures like, you know, Axe Wolves. He's not got head sculpts, and I thought it's a bit of a missed opportunity by Hot Toys to not have a head sculpt on that. But I got it anyway because it's a decent figure. But yeah, it's a bit of a taking the L on that one as well because it doesn't fit in with that trio of figures now with Koska and Bo-Katan and obviously Axe Wolves. But I got it anyway because, like you say, you might not get an Axe Wolves again.
Yeah, like for me, it was easily I'm like looking behind me because I'm trying to see. It was definitely 2. Like for example, the big one I remember is the Hot Toys Batman Begins, the new one that they made. It came out last year, like I got it right around before Christmas, and that one was a big deal because it was supposed to be like not reissue, but like an upgraded different version. And like I got it, and I was just so disappointed with it. Like I looked at it, I'm like. And I know it got a lot of flack because the suit was like, there was just a lot of things wrong with it. And I remember it because it was, I think I was doing a live stream because I got that on the same day that I got the, if you know, the Batman Forever, Val Kilmer Batman figure from the Batman Forever. Yeah. I opened that first. I didn't even know. I just had 2 boxes. I opened that one first and that figure blew me away. Like I was like, wow, this is like an outstanding figure. I go to open up the Batman and I'm just sitting there staring at it, like kind of like, oh, it's like definitely not what I like. I just felt disappointed, and I'm just like, it's what it is, you know. And for me personally, from the Christian Bale Batman, I know it's not Star Wars talk, but that Batman Begins suit is my favorite design over the ones that he wears. So I was really excited for that figure. When I got it, I was just kind of like, I just stared at it, like, you know.
Why didn't it quite get you?
It just didn't. I mean, because the suit. I mean, there's a lot of issues with it. Like the suit itself, like the actual body didn't fill out the suit, so the suit was very like loose.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you could actually, it had like, and it was also super shiny. It was meant to be like a matte finish. It was very
Yeah.
shiny, and like the head sculpt just didn't. Like there's just a lot of the cape was wired cape. I think Hot Toys is awful with wired capes for the most
Mm.
part, and so there's a lot of little things. I was just kind of like, and I think the problem was I opened up a really awesome figure, and then I saw that, and I'm like, it just
Yeah.
didn't meet the kind of same
Yeah.
quality. I was just kind of like, man, that's awful. And then the other one I admit is the DeLorean. The DeLorean, because I'm one of the ones that, I mean, it's well documented. I'm one of the ones that have the broken DeLorean with the wheels
Right.
breaking on it. And I fixed it and I kept the car versus worrying about sending it back, because in my
Mm.
mind, I'm like, when am I going to get another DeLorean for that kind of price? I'm not
Yeah.
chasing another one down. So there's just things as collectors. And I think sometimes it's okay, not like, it's okay to admit that you get a figure that you're not totally impressed with, or it doesn't,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to get it in hand to know what the deal is with it versus, and it's
Yeah.
not worth trying to resell it because you're not going or return it, or because I want that representation in my collection. So I might sound a little silly in saying that, which is okay, but
Yeah. I
I
mean,
just didn't,
well,
I just didn't know with so much Star Wars,
I
you
think
know,
I've been lucky, to be honest. I pretty much like every figure that comes in because
yeah,
when I get it, my videos are all unboxed like on the day, not necessarily the day I get it, but I don't check the figure out first. I just get it out of the box while I'm filming it, and then that is what it is. And I'm
yeah,
not really unimpressed by anything. Like I say, other than that R5 recently, but I think like that was just because I just unboxed the C3PO as well, which was amazing.
yeah.
And then I get the R5 and it's just like kind of a molded bit of plastic.
So when you do your reviews, do you, I mean, obviously, do you do like a QC check on them, or like when you film your stuff, are you pretty much seeing the figure for the first time? Like when you like that C3PO, was that like a genuine reaction when you saw that? Like that was live, like you filmed that, and that's what your reaction was when you got
Pretty
it?
much.
Because
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
super genuine. Like I was watching that, and I was like, that's so awesome to see. You know, like I said, there was not a lot of die cast in Star Wars figures, so I was curious. Like, that's how I do it too. When I open up
Yeah.
figures, like if I do a review on something, I don't rip everything open. I genuinely do it a lot. Like I film it as I'm opening it. So like what you see is kind of what my first reactions are to the
Yeah.
figure. Some people I know do like a QC check beforehand,
Right.
like make sure nothing's broken, and then they kind of put it all.
Mm,
I don't have the time. I just open it up, take a look at it, and then you're seeing what my reaction is live when I'm doing it.
exactly.
So
I'm
I didn't know
exactly,
if,
yeah, I'm the same. Not got the time to do it, to check it all out first, just get on with it and then get the video edited. But yeah, so yeah, that's how it's been best for me. I don't like scripting stuff either, so because
mhm.
I can't, it's not just rubbish reading a script, so it'll just sound even worse than I probably do normally, but that's just how it is, I think.
Yeah. T Rusty Bronco says, TK, big question. Jazz Inc. I think space is gonna be the problem. Doing a new Star Wars vehicle. Do you get it?
Yeah. Again, with that, if I was going down the Jazz Inc. route, I'd want to get everything that is done Star Wars related, and it's
Yeah.
just literally no room for it because the Millennium Falcon looked good, the cockpit, and obviously
I've seen some reviews on that. Yeah, it's nice too.
did you do the Sans Luke's Speeder as well? Is that one of them? Was that a Jazz Inc. one? I can't remember now, but
I don't remember because to be honest with you, I know Jazz Inc. is a kind of a, it's got his, you got your people that like it and people that don't like them in terms of
right.
the products. I know it's always like everything else. Everyone,
Yeah.
um, I only discovered Jazz Inc. last year, through, obviously I've seen reviews when the 66 Batmobile came out.
Mhm.
That's when I really discovered Jazz Inc. when I saw that, because everyone started, it was the first release, everyone was raving about it. So, and then, when like I said, he announced the 89 Batmobile, I had the Hot Toys one on pre-order, and I'm a huge 89 Batman fan. I love Batman. 89 is my
Mhm.
absolute favorite. And I did a live stream interview on my channel a few months back with this guy called, his name is Carl Newman, and he was the stand-in for Michael Keaton on Batman. He was he wasn't a stunt double, but he was a movement double. He was a trained ballet, classically trained dancer, and so a lot like the opening. Have you seen? I mean, I have. Sue, have you seen 89 Batman? You seen Batman?
Oh yeah, I mean I saw that at the cinema.
Like the very opening sequence on the rooftop when he opens the cape up and jumps off.
Yeah.
That's actually this guy Carl. That's
Right.
not Michael Keaton. And so a lot of the famous scenes jumping in and out of the Batmobile was this guy. Like a lot of the famous scenes that required certain movements were actually this guy and not Michael Keaton. In preparation for that interview, I watched Batman probably like 7 times in a week. I just watched the movie like, to see like stills and stuff like that, and it just really reinvigorated my passion for that movie and that character. That I went on Jazz Inc. I pre-ordered the '89 Batmobile. I was like, I was like, that's future Ryan problems where it's going. I'm buying future problems. So I pre-ordered that thing. Yeah. So
yeah, I'd love to get sort of the Batman stuff. Especially that Batmobile, it looks amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, jump back through a couple comments real quick because we got some people coming in. Yeah, Daniel says, "Oh yeah, Batman Begins is the biggest letdown," and he says, "Just got to upgrade and get the OT cowl and cape." I did actually get a velvet drape cape for it. That's as much as I was willing to go, Daniel. There is upgraded cowls you can get that people make that are outstanding for that figure. I did actually do an updated video. I got a velvet drape cape for the figure that kind of covered up a lot of it, which looks a lot better. So it kind of brought it up a little bit for me. Best Car Kid, same with unboxings from TK and Ryan. Best Car Kid, man, thank you so much. To give you a shout out, thank you so much. And make sure to follow Best Car Kid. Gets the figures in quick, does 60-second reviews, and he's the goat of the 60-second reviews, which I love. Big Dog Pound says, I wish Hot Toys had the Wonder Woman seamless body technology when they created the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn figures. That's definitely one of the criticisms I have of Hot Toys is their inconsistent use of technology, if that's a nice way of saying it. I think that the Ahsoka figure should have had the seamless body, the one that they made. I own the WB 100 Wonder Woman, and I own the 84 Wonder Woman that are both seamless, and it's hard to figure out why Ahsoka wasn't 100% seamless with the arms. It's just I'm hoping that when we get the new Ahsoka, if we do get a new Ahsoka, they do upgrade that. So
we're gonna do the white Ahsoka.
That's definitely that's a stream for another time that we want. I wanted to cram that in and be like, Ahsoka figures, what do you want? Like right now, I just love that show. It has such the character designs on that show are just outstanding. If you like the show or don't like the show, you can't argue that the costume designs, everything like that, they're out of this world, and they could translate really fantastic to figures. I mean, it's I'm really looking forward to that. 12-inch Moose Stream says, hello, community of collectors. I'm getting third-party Forrest Gump and Fight Club DXL. Congratulations on that. I'm happy for any and all pickups of figures. Daniel says, I hope Jazzing does the Anakin / Vader's Green Jet Jedi ETA 2-star fighter. Like I said, he's definitely open to making stuff for the community, especially what Hot Toys isn't doing, like the N1 and things like that. It's absolutely so. I wouldn't put it past them. I know Yost is very snow speeder they made. That's what CBS Sci-Fi says, snow speeder. Yeah, but I know he's open. I know he's open to anything really, as long as the community's willing to back it. Pablo says TK's close-ups on reviews to show the details and weathering are incredible. My go-to for anything Star Wars. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not just saying that. Like I said, guys, Big Doll's putting all this information there. Definitely check him out, subscribe. And I'm not just saying that. Like, there's very few people. Like, there's a lot of people out there that do reviews on just everything. But if you're someone that's very isolated and someone like me who's kind of like I started collecting Star Wars Hot Toys specifically when the Mando Season 1 came out. I had a few figures before then. I think I had the Empire 40th Darth Vader, and I had something else. But I didn't go all in on Star Wars until the OG Mando. That was that started it, where I really, and if there's one regret, I wish I would have started Star Wars a lot sooner, like really a lot sooner, because I think of pieces I would have had in the collection that I would have paid retail for. Sideshow Collectibles had a lot of the Return of the Jedi phasing out. Like I could have got the Emperor on Throne, could have got Luke Skywalker Deluxe. I could have got a lot of those figures, and I just wasn't. I was going all in on Marvel, and that was a big mistake. Right. I wish I.
That does sound like a similar sort of time, because I think I could have got the Emperor from a UK supplier, but they just cancelled my pre-order at the time because I think they didn't know what they were doing basically when they started doing Hot Toys. I don't know, you got Zavi in America, but. They didn't really know what they were doing, so I could have got that, but I had to pick it up secondary.
TK Boys 210 says, I'm hoping Hot Toy comes out and announces Jedi Starfighter underneath Jazz Inc. with a couple laughing emojis. Well, I don't. The way that Hot Toys is doing stuff right now, I personally don't see the Jedi Starfighter coming. I don't see the N1 coming. I mean, don't hold me to it. It's just the company has so much on their plate, and I think that's where we're going to close out the stream in not a few minutes, but we got like a little bit of time left. But we're going to jump on Sideshow's page, and you'll see why. There's just so many pre-orders that they're working on that vehicles are just they're not for everybody. I mean, you got to have the space, the money, things like that. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But
it's a limited audience and a limited market for those big kind of pieces. I don't think many people, like say, haven't got the space of the.
Some guy says, I'm not sure if this is correct or not. Somebody said Batman Begins 2.0 was meant for. Yeah, I was going to say that Denobi 2 actually mentioned that, some guy, that the new Batman Begins, because the suit was a little bigger, it was meant to be fit inside the tumbler. So even though that wasn't announced, that was definitely, I think Denobi said that when Denobi saw it, he speculated, Denobi 2 said that because he has the other one. And he said that they gave a little extra cushion so you could bend the figure to put it in the tumbler to avoid the suit creasing and stuff. That is very possible. The problem is with Hot Toys, I don't think they officially put that out there, which would have been nice because people would have understood that versus the issues. Tom Daly says, I live in an apartment. I have no place to cut wood or paint, is the reason why I went with Maju case. Right?
Yeah.
No, nothing wrong. I'm no judgment here. Absolutely. I mean, to be very fair, if I had the money and the time, I probably would buy Maju cases. Probably would. It's just not in the cards for me personally.
I can't afford them.
Yeah, Big Dog says, I love the new Ahsoka show. I think a lot of us do. Beskar Kid, he's actually on his way out. He's got to run, guys. We'll catch the rewind. May the force be with you all. Beskar Kid, if you're still here, thank you so much, sir. The GOAT, as always. Make sure to subscribe to him. He just hit a couple milestones, 700 subs on YouTube and a couple thousand on TikTok. That's where he primarily dominates his YouTube and TikTok. So take care, absolutely. Rusty Bronco says, TK, favorite Darth Vader, Empire, ?
Favorite Vader? Yeah, I guess so at the minute. Well, no, A New Hope one, I think. Yeah, definitely like the New Hope with the robes outside of the armor.
Yeah,
it look cool. Obviously, he's got the Return of the Jedi one coming on with, so the Kenobi one's probably going to be my favorite.
That's nice.
This bullet mask.
Uncarded Review says, Hot Toys uses hybrid bodies, and based on the character and their project budget, you either get a partial seamless, only seam. Well, yeah, absolutely true. Obviously, we can Monday morning quarterback this and say, I wish they woulda, that kind of thing. I think with the issues that the Ahsoka had, I think the smart move would be to either just make it double jointed, and because it'll have her sleeves covering up the elbows anyway. It would make sense to probably make her double jointed or go seamless at this point. Doing what they did on that is wasn't the best move. Yeah. And then some guy says, TK421, what is your favorite football club? Soccer.
Liverpool FC.
There you go. Dino's Review said, just had this video recommended to me. I'll watch it in the catch up. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Having a good conversation about Star Wars Hot Toys and a little bit. We're going to dabble in some other stuff in a minute. 12-inch Moose Stream says, I have the 66 Batmobile, 89 is a lot in one breath. 66 Batmobile, 89 Batwing, Snow Speeder, expecting the 22 Batmobile by the end of the year, pre-order the 89, 95, and the 66 Bat Cycle. 12-inch, you are a god among men here with this much stuff. Like TK's face right there kind of says it all right there. His like, whoa, that's congrats, man. That's a display that I'd love to see, man. 12-inch, some obviously doesn't take some time, but that's a loaded statement there, huh? It's a lot there.
Has he got a channel where we can
no, 12-inch doesn't have a channel, but he's pretty active in all the chats. So he's definitely an OG in a lot of he's moderators and a lot of streams and stuff like that. Right. So he's all around, but he's also on Facebook. So definitely 12-inch, some updated photos, send us some photos. Definitely.
I'd like to see that display.
Yeah. Rusty Bronco says Hot Toy standard should be any figure showing arms will be seamless along with USB. That's true. But like I said, Hot Toys is a little inconsistent, I think, with their technologies sometimes. But
I think it's the figures as well, isn't it? They can't if they pay for the sculpt, and they're not going to pay the big money to produce the seamless figures, I guess. As a licensing. But,
all right, so we'll jump into this. What we're going to do is we're going to bring up there's your channel, obviously. Subscribe. I have it there. So We are going to bring up this is Sideshow Collectibles site. What I want to talk about is two things. I have three tabs open. This is Star Wars because I want to kind of help out and not have to jump around. So Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. So right here, obviously Sideshow. It's easy to use this site. Not saying you have to buy from Sideshow, no affiliation, nothing like that. I just use this because it's easy to filter out figures and kind of get an idea. So judging by this list, I have it filtered just so people can know. Star Wars Hot Toys, 6 scale only, pre-release and coming soon, which gives us a total of, was it 34, 40, 45 figures total as on Sideshow site. That's what we're going with. So that being said, I'll let you go and then I'll go. This goes back to Lane Kramer's question. Lane asked this very early on, and he kind of with the dewback. Top 3 anticipated pre-orders. Now, when I wrote this, I'll rephrase a little bit. You don't have to have had something pre-ordered, but let's say you're gonna hey, I didn't do the dewback, but I'm definitely gonna pre-order the dewback, for example. So you can count that. It doesn't have to be stuff that you actually did pre-order. But top 3 anticipated for Star Wars coming into and I'll just kind of scroll through. So you let me know. If I can go first, if you want to kind of think about this, but we'll scroll through. This is on the Sideshow site. If there's something out here, definitely let me know. But
there's 3 already on the top 2 rows there, but I know there's going to be more. Go on, because the dewback and Sand Troopers, obviously.
So we'll count the dewback and Sand Trooper Deluxe as one, and I'll agree. This is an anticipated release for me for next year. This is up there. This is not number 1. I don't have a number 1, 2. This is just one of my 3. Is the Sand Trooper dewback. For me, it's original trilogy. It's grandfathered into pre-ordering, and it's just a massive piece that I think is going to look beautifully displayed. So this is one of mine. I'm assuming it's one of yours too.
Yeah, that's my number 1, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think is the next one as we're scrolling through?
Yeah, keep scrolling down then. I won't have them. Yeah. So it's just, I think the Vader from
Return of the Jedi. Oh, Kenobi.
Yeah. Kenobi. That one looks good with obviously the lightning in his
there he is.
Helmet.
Kenobi Vader.
I think this one's going to be a good one. With that split down his helmet, it looks amazing. That. So that's, I think that's probably number 2.
Yeah, Kenobi Vader. That's yeah, that's going to be one for people definitely. Just because, and if that's your number 2, I'll jump back to my number 2. My number 2 is going to be Return of the Jedi Vader.
Right.
This is mine. I have 2 of these on order. I have a deluxe.
Options.
I have a deluxe and I have a standard. So this is my number 2 excited one. 24 is Deluxe Vader. I want to pose him in full Vader outfit with his lightsaber wielded. And then if they don't give us a Luke Return of the Jedi by some time, I'll get one on the secondary, like the Return of the Jedi version. But I want to replicate the version of him with his mask off, and I want I think Posing with Peter did it way back when on his channel. He did it where he had Vader with his arms slunched over Luke's, and he's carrying him. But I want to have the mask off already, so he looks like he's dying. So he's kind of carrying him. So I want to replicate. So I want 2 of them for that. So Darth Vader, Return of the Jedi is mine.
Yeah, the reason why that one's not in mine is because I've got the quarter scale, and it's not much different. So I thought I'd go for something a bit different.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So then your number. This is gonna be tough, man. Because honestly, looking at this again. There's a lot and you know what, to be fair, I don't know if we're not going to count the Artisan Anakin. He's excluded because that's I have that on order specifically. I won't count that though. I won't count that. I do have that one on order, but we're not going to count that one. So we'll exclude Anakin Artisan just because let's not make it too hard of a choice. But what would be your 3rd most anticipated?
It's so tough this. I think controversial there though. One figure that I'm actually quite looking forward to, and I've been doing for a while, is the Reaver figure. People might not like that, but I think this is going to be amazing. That head sculpt, if it's anything like that when it goes into mass production, I think that's spot on. That. Yeah, this is going to be I think this could be a sleeper that people are really. I think this is going to be a sleeper that people are passing up on it because they want to complete stuff. But I think this sculpt could be pretty amazing. Absolutely could be pretty amazing.
for a lot. And just to jump back in, where the Fab's figure saying, "Are we not reading chats unless they're super chats like real collect?" No, we're having a conversation here, so I'm trying to time manage because TK and I are kind of managing our time and going through a lot to cover. So no, I have been. It's not my fault that you came in late, my friend. You came in late to the chat, and I actually have been pausing to read comments. So I am going to backtrack and read comments. Just that
You
we're
have been reading comments, to be fair, haven't you?
I have been reading comments. It's called checking the replay. There's my proof. But my third figure, it's a toss up between Anakin and Mace Windu, and I'll go Anakin.
Right.
I'll go Anakin. It's a toss up only because I'm interested to see with Mace Windu if they do any alterations to the sculpt, because I know the sculpt was met with mixed reactions for Mace Windu. But this Anakin was pretty much well received as being like a home run from the get-go. And this is one of those where I really just hope that this doesn't break off of production, like the quality. I hope this stays the way that it is, because I think this is a phenomenal figure for the price point. It's just, it is what, this is just a great looking figure. So this is probably
looking amazing as well.
Yeah, this just for Star Wars is just that's part of the reason why I really like Star Wars more, because these character designs, I think, and also I would actually say that the head sculpts for Star Wars figures are probably some of the best in terms of IP wise. Like if you look at the head sculpts from Marvel, DC, and Star Wars, I would argue that they probably do the best work on Star Wars.
I was going to ask you about that, because obviously you've got a bit more of a wider collection of other fandoms than me, and I was wondering whether you thought the head sculpts were better for Star Wars or for the Marvel stuff in DC.
Like if I'm looking, I don't mean to be turning around, but if I look at like my DC, for example, like everything looks really good, but then you look at Star Wars above, and there's just hit after hit, like the Boba Fett's, the Fennec Shans, the Casca Reeves, all that. It's like, I'm just looking at them, like the Count Dooku, the Darth Maul, I'm just going through the list. Like I'm just looking Cad Bane, Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm looking at Luke Skywalker, and then I'm looking down at the bottom, and I'm like, they look good, but they're just like, DC's good, but they're not. And then Marvel. It seems like Marvel, they definitely make sure they get Robert Downey Jr. right, and then everything else is kind of like questionable.
Right.
I mean, I'm just looking around. I mean, there's some that, they definitely do. It's just, it is what it is. But
I mean, that's Sabine as well. That's
like, oh my God, you can't. I mean, you can't complain about that. It's just, it is. And Daniel says, they put more effort into Star Wars overall. Yeah, I do think so. And they want to make sure they keep that property. They want to make everybody happy. Rusty Bronco says Hot Toy standard should be. I read this one with USB. Just jumping through 12-inch Moose Stream, working on the display. I work 12 hours a day right now. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and a lot of those things you have on pre-order aren't even going to be coming out till probably next year. So definitely keep us in the know about that. Let's see. Neil Terrific says TK, you'll never walk alone. Go Reds. Let's see. Stevie 133, like that Instagram. There you go. Just jumping through. Rusty Bronco says top 3 now. Dewback, New Hope, Guard Station, and new Darth Empire. There you go. Just jump through comments. So you see Tom Daly says, is anyone else getting a USB hub to finally display lightsabers? That's what I have, actually. I have a USB hub because I hardwired all my lightsabers. I soldered the wires, so like all of mine run on a USB. So all of my lightsabers that you see back here that are kind of lit up, that's all turns on and off with my display. So like if I turn around, I'll give you kind of an example. My lights will go out, but like if I hit my, if I go like this, and I'll show you. I never actually did this on live. Here, I'll show you. Let me remove this. I'm not going to go, but if I go like that, everything goes black. And then there you go. So everything turns on. So I don't have to worry about the batteries. So I sat there and I soldered. Oh, some of them there's nothing that's USB now, but anything that wasn't, I was sitting there, I was soldering them, and I wired them up to USB and tucked them in. So behind the Boba throne, there's actually a big 30-port USB hub that I just keep plugging and everything. And you actually see a little Darth Vader blinking. His chest is blinking, so I have him lit up. I have stuff like that lit up. And so anything I get USB, I just plug right in. And then right there is Ahsoka. You see Ahsoka right there. She didn't have, thanks to Denobi for that one, she didn't have the white, her sabers aren't USB powered. So I bought mini LEDs and stuck them inside the hilts, and it lit the hilts up. So I just wanted everything done that way. So, let's see. Daniel says like a 3-tier character like Fennec is so much better than the new Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. I mean, yeah, I would say the Fennec is definitely better because the Wonder Woman, like I said, it's the greatest hits of recycled parts to make the best version that Hot Toys. I mean, I still think that the Wonder Woman WB100 is a fantastic figure from Hot Toys' point of view. Could someone else do it better, like in art? Absolutely, because they have the technology advanced to do it. But at this present time, I would say the Wonder Woman WB is the best Wonder Woman that Hot Toys has made because they took the greatest hits of all previous versions to make their own. And also, to be fair, when that figure came out, it doesn't have a year release time like the artisan figures. So that one literally from announcement to release was like 4 months. So you knew that they definitely, yeah, it was only like a 4-month window from 3 or 4 months. So the artisans, they're putting more work into, and I pray to the Hot Toys gods, and they won't do it, that the Anakin artisan, they change everything up to full leather, but they won't do that. I'm very upset that one is like it's all pleather, but
considering the price, they should do, shouldn't they?
Considering the price, yeah, like that's a nice way of putting it. So I'm going to close this out. I know we're hitting that hour mark. We kind of said that, but I do want to hit you if you have a few more minutes. I get you out of here because I think we're having fun. So we talked about that. I have 2 more questions, then we kind of can close it out there. So if you were to branch out from Star Wars and add some non-Star Wars Hot Toys to your collection. So basically, we're going to get rid of this tab. Star Wars doesn't exist anymore, my friend. I'm sorry. Hot Toys stopped. They lost the license. They don't make them anymore. If you had to pick 3 figures that were non-Star Wars, what would you think they would be?
Well, first one probably that comes to mind is the Indiana Jones that's coming out. So obviously not. I don't know whether that would be in one of your tabs there because it's not Marvel, is it? Obviously.
Oh, yeah, that one. And in my collection, there you go, Indiana Jones. Yeah. Absolutely. Oof, yeah, great one.
The RoboCop as well. I'm looking forward to a review on that one. See what that's like.
RoboCop. There we go. That was a quick one. RoboCop. Where's Robo? Yeah. There he is, right there. Yep, he's released. I know you were commenting. You said you like that one. There's Robo.
Yeah, because that looks really good because you can have it in both, like the film #1, can't you? And RoboCop 3.
Yeah, and it is really nice because there's a couple of reviews. I know there's been some questions about the color, from the prototype in terms of bluish purple to it being like that. There is reviews out, for example, like MRC collections. I watch his stuff a lot. He brought out, and it's so much nicer. Like it's not as drastic. Basically, the color situation isn't as big as what it's being made out to be. So it can very finely be represented as a RoboCop 1 or a 3. And I just kind of go back to the point of like, when are you going to get another RoboCop? So it's something that if you're on the fence about and you don't want to chase down those aftermarket prices, it's just consider, So you got Indiana Jones, you got RoboCop, and then who would be your third? That
am I allowed to buy backwards? Because I'd go for Batman.
Batman. Which one? 89?
Probably 89. Yeah, Keaton 89.
Batman. I mean, they do have this guy here, which is the newer version. Yeah. There he is.
So is that him from?
This is the 89 2.0. So this is the Batman 89. They did a 2.0. It's low stock right now. So it's supposed to be due out next year. It's $279 USD before tax and shipping for the collector edition, and then you can do a deluxe edition, which comes with this big gargoyle base. For $345. I actually did a video. I did a video on this when it came out, and I did a comparison because I have the original DX version, and I broke down a lot of the differences that I saw visually and why this is like such a great upgrade. That I think that if you were to get, like, if you never owned one or the other, like this would be the one I would go after because there's a lot of more accurate nuances that they changed on this. But yeah, you're a Keaton fan, which I love. He's the best Batman. No one can change my mind otherwise. So
yeah, definitely.
89 Batman is beautiful. Yes, it is. Daniel, we agree on something, which we can disagree on a lot, but at least we agree on 89 Batman. It's nice. It's a welcome upgrade. Like this is a nice upgrade from the original. They fixed a lot of things from the original DX that were not accurate, and they made some nice improvements. So this is a welcomed edition. I only have one of these on order, and then the Batman from the Flash movie, I have 2 of those on order. I have 1 and 2. So I've there's a method to my madness. Absolutely. Ooh, yeah. Tom Daly just said Anakin Skywalker and Stap is 25% off with $5 shipping on Sideshow. We were seeing this
Cashing in on
live.
the. I'm
There
surprised
he
that's
is.
still available, to be honest.
There you go.
That.
There you go. 288.75 and $5 shipping. And yeah, so if anyone wants to jump on it, this is active. We're watching Sideshow live. So
How good was it seeing him in live action as well? That was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I mean, I know it's pretty amazing. Some guy says, Ryan, how dare you bail as number one? He is not my friend. I'm sorry. I
He's my
apologize.
number two, I think. Bale.
Yeah, he was good, but just not, you know. I kind of want to close out the stream with, I know this might be a very broad one, but I always like asking people this, especially those I've never had conversations with. I know you and I've talked about things and obviously events that go on, like, I don't want to use the word drama, like just even if you're not active, I don't know how active you are on social media and stuff. I'm sure things always get out there. Things are going on, like the Toys Wonderland situations, anything like that, figure controversies, you name it, whatever it is. I always wanted to have this conversation with certain people, but like, do you have any advice for collectors? I know this is a very broad brush question, so I am prepared for that. Like, oh wow, but like for someone, because everyone can offer advice, and I do feel like sometimes collectors get judged if you've only been in the game for 3 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. And I think we all have experiences in life. I mean, you could be collecting for 1 year. Like I've made mistakes already that I wish I can go back and fix, as a collector. And, sometimes people say, oh, you've only been collecting since 2020. What do you know? Versus people that have been collecting for 10 years, that kind of thing. Or you got this amount of figures, this, I hear a bunch of things all the time, not necessarily at me, but like in general, I hear things said. But like, do you have any advice? It could be about, you have very good, resistance to buying outside. Like you stick with Star Wars. This is what you like. Prioritizing could be space, could be, collect what you like, things like that. But have you noticed anything that kind of, I don't even know, like kind of concerns you about like what's going on with collecting? Or I mean, I know you kind of stay in your own lane, you do your own thing, you do your videos and stuff like that, which is completely awesome. And in terms of that, but do you have any advice for people maybe that are like, how do you stick to Star Wars, or how do you prioritize? That's why I was kind of asking about the prioritizing of the collection. But can you think of anything that's ever been on your mind lately that like, oh yeah, man, I wish I could, like, if someone asked me that, I would tell people like, hey, do this, that, and the other. But like, do you have anything like that you could think of?
Not really. I mean, the only thing I wish I'd have known before I started collecting Hot Toys was always get the deluxe version and not get the normal.
We disagree on that.
Yeah. Because I got the Luke Skywalker Endor one, and I should have got the deluxe with the full kit and all the alternative look. So that's really.
I would say I could pose it that way to you then. Is there anything, like, since collecting, I could rephrase that then with advice, but like, since you've been collecting, is there any mistakes that you made that you could wish you can go back in time? Like if you could go back in time and make a few switches to how you collected, is there anything that you would have changed, or are you pretty much from how you started to how you are now, you wouldn't change a single thing?
Yeah, I think maybe planning your collection. I think it's difficult though, isn't it? Because I was going to say planning your collection so you've always got enough space, but that's, again, everyone's circumstances are really different, aren't they? I mean, I didn't know I'd get, my wife would let me have my own little room to have my collection in. So yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. It is difficult because, I mean, how did you plan to do your room? Was it just, is it just evolving? I think that's just how things
I think it just evolved. So let me see, while we're talking, I'll try to pull up. I think I have a photo here. So my collection evolved over time. Like I said, I started collecting in June of 2020. And then, that's when things got, started picking up. And I was a little, I was big into sports memorabilia. There it is. I'm going to pull this off screen and then I'll show you. Let me see if I pull this up here. Yeah. This is from 2 years ago. Let me split my screen. Hang on a second. Let me remove this. Stop screen share. Present screen share. Hang on a second. Apologize for the delay, people. So this is actually the wall behind me. So where I am right now, like this big display cabinet, like this is what this was 2 years ago.
Okay.
1, 2, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see. I'm sorry. Photos of my daughter and stuff. Let me zoom in. I can zoom in here. So you can see that's what it looked like. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DTOFs, and then off screen I had another 3. And you can see
Mm.
the collection was like, I could tell you honestly, the quarter scale Iron Man's not there anymore. Sold it. The Mandalorian Chrome at the very bottom corner, not there. Sold it.
Oh yeah.
Um, the Doctor Strange, don't have it. Sold it. So those 3 I got rid of. Everything else is still in the collection. So like, like the quarter scale Mark III was awesome, but you can see the space. Like there's the figure,
Mm.
and then I bought an acrylic split shelf to like right there. I don't know if you can see on screen, but there's an acrylic half shelf behind it that I have the 2 Iron Man figures on. But still, that's like so much space there. And then you can see next to it, I have the Green Goblin, which was a third party, and then the Thanos. I dropped the shelf down. And you kind of see like using shelves, like what do you call it? Those little hangers to modify the shelves and stuff. So I was like kind of playing around with the space, kind of seeing like I want a black drop cloth to kind of. So I was tweaking with everything, and it just and you see there's 1 figure per, and there's 2 in there. Oh, actually, the Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord is not there either. So I sold those figures off because they weren't fitting in the collection. That's when I started prioritizing where I wanted to go. The reason why I got that Guardians is because I intended to get the whole Guardians line. It's just too expensive, and it just looked weird as a one-off. So I ended up getting rid of it. But everything else is there, and more has been added to the collection since then. And so, like I said, those are the mistakes that was mistakes. But the biggest thing I wish I did is I would have went back and chased Star Wars sooner, 100%. I wish I would have went back and there's just certain figures I just know in the back of my head. I just didn't know so what happened was when I told you that I had sports memorabilia, I sold off all my sports memorabilia. I had jerseys, all that stuff. So I had a big boatload of money. And that's how I invested my initial collection. I started buying stuff. I just bought what I saw I liked. Oh, I want this, I want that. I never really, and I didn't discover the social media side of it until like 2-3 months after I started collecting. And I was like, whoa, I got to I didn't know that there's buy and sell trade groups. I didn't know there was this. I didn't know there was that. I went back. I was like, man, I could have had some grails early on. I could have had stuff that I would have bought. I could have had animated Boba Fett. I could have had the prototype Boba Fett at a much better price than what they are now. So it's like, oh boy, that kind of stuff.
I think I got them at the right time, to be honest. Some of them early ones. I mean, I had a load of Nirvana shirts from the 90s that I sold, and I made like a few thousand on them.
Oh, really?
They just went bonkers. People bidding on them, and I used that money to start the collection off and getting grails and stuff. And luckily, the grails at the time were quite a lot cheaper than they are now. So, but another thing, I was selling stuff as well. Like I sold Bespin Leia and a couple of other figures, and I ended up buying them back because I thought, because I wanted to keep the line, and that was another mistake I made. But someone said in the chat, we've been collecting for years and still making 15 years and still making mistakes.
Yeah, I mean,
it's one of the things, isn't it?
Guys, just be here for the hobby and don't get involved with drama. I'm here for good content and good videos. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, hey, listen, man, I'm guilty of it. I got involved in a lot of stuff. I've made it very clear that I'm changing my content up where I'm just trying to focus on stuff. I'm not live streaming as much anymore because, to be frank, live streams, there's a lot of people out there. I mean, to be fair, we'll kind of wind it down from there. A lot of people on YouTube, I mean, you can just pick up a phone and start a channel. No problem. It's easy to do. It just depends on if you really want to pursue this more, which some of us are doing just because it's enjoying. I genuinely enjoy making content. I enjoy filming stuff, editing, putting it out there, interacting with. I do enjoy doing that. And so I've made it a point that obviously if anyone's been following me the last 3 weeks, I'm pumping out a lot more videos, a lot more content. I film on the weekends. And so I just want to do more topic opinionated videos to try to help other people out. I think I'm filming a video today, which I know people have done before, but I'm just doing my own version of it where I want to do a video. It's the top tools to use for collecting, like a heat gun, using a heat gun, or I got a little mini vacuum here that I vacuum my display because people ask me because my shelves are black cloth that get lint. So I have a little mini vacuum that I go around. I just vacuum lint and stuff off every so often, and pleather treatment, 303 tweezers, things like that.
Leather, the pleather treatment. I've not done that yet.
So I want to do a video on that. Just a quick little video of the things that I use on a not daily basis, but good things to have in a toolbox of in case you don't know what you need. Dehumidifier or maybe a humidifier, depending on what your room is like. those things are important that people don't think about. And then the other thing I just signed up for is collector's insurance to insure my collection. Like a lot of people don't think about that in case something happens. So I'm just trying to think of stuff that maybe I would have thought about before.
Yeah.
So
The
that's
insurance
really
thing is
it.
a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I checked with my home insurance whether it's covered, and I think they
Yeah.
basically said it was, but it's a
Yeah.
bit of
So
a grey area.
yeah, I seeked a collector's insurance and got like a separate collector's policy, which is like I pay like $100 a year and it covers all my stuff. So in case anything happens, so it's really good. So I want to make a video about that, but that's the kind of stuff. But I want
Yeah,
to wind down. I think hour and 15 minutes. I think we committed to an hour just to see how
yeah,
things were going. But I think we had fun. I'm
correct.
great first time convo. There's definitely still more I want to talk about, and I hope we can do another stream soon. I really wanted to
Yeah,
dive into Ahsoka and get your thoughts on like
no,
figures and what
yeah,
you're looking for with Ahsoka and stuff like that. So we'll definitely figure out something we can do. Sundays work for me, absolutely.
yeah,
So I have no problem with that.
yeah,
So it's fun.
that's
But
cool.
I definitely need to do more videos. Yeah, just make content and just enjoy it and put it out there.
No, I need to check out your channel, and I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah. Rusty Bronco says, "Where do you get collector's insurance? Any policy?" The real fast, if you don't mind, the place that there's many places you can just Google it, like collector's insurance. But the place that I got mine from, I'm trying to, if I have an email here, it's called. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. American Collectors Insurance. They're based out of New Jersey, where I'm from. There's multiple places though, like they're not the only ones. That was actually recommended to me by somebody else, but I use American Collectors Insurance and I have a policy. I'll make a video about the process because you need to itemize the collection like on an Excel sheet. Up there is the man himself, Don Prime. He is the one that recommended them to me. And what's really scary, TK, is that initially they asked me to value what my collection was, and I gave them a value, and so the problem was my value was like 3 times the amount, which was
Right, okay.
it was a lot.
Wow.
So I was like, "Uh-oh, that's a problem." So
I look forward to that video when you do one because
yeah,
yeah, you've got to do a spreadsheet and everything. That's interesting.
yeah. What was it? Dick Trainer says, "Not the best streaming hour. Focus and 1/6 scale, man, have their shows this hour."
Mm.
To be fair, I don't worry about other people's that are streaming. I appreciate that comment, but at the end of the day, I'm not worried about who's streaming with what. Everyone streams. It's a populated community. Everyone's doing their own thing. And to be fair, TK and I put together this time, and this was what worked for us because of the time zone difference. So we just wanted to have 2 people having a stream. I appreciate the feedback. I am aware that there's other people streaming, but at the end of the day, if we, there's not much time in the day for everybody. If everyone allots their time, sometimes things are going to overlap. So I understand people aren't going to watch this as much right now because there might be other streams going on, but that's why there's a replay. So if you guys catch it on the replay, watch it later. It's just 2 collectors having a conversation and having fun. So that's what it's all about. So I do appreciate the feedback as always. But I think we want to wrap it up there. Do you have any final thoughts before we close this out?
Yeah, I'm just gonna crack on opening these bark speeders, I think.
So that's what I'll say. So when is the review coming up? I'll put your channel back up here. When is the review for the bark speeders? You're gonna film today and probably have it up.
Well, I've got the R5. We need to edit that video first, so that's probably going to be in the week. And then, yeah, I'll just get the filming started and then try and get editing that. So, yeah, what about yourself?
I have a couple of video ideas I'll be putting out, probably filming like I said, the tools and maybe the insurance video I might try to do today, or the collector's insurance. I want to do it with Don, who recommended that for me. So I want to like do a dual stream with him. Figure wise, next week I got a lot of figures coming in. I have the A New Hope Obi-Wan coming in, and I have the Sand Trooper. I actually want to make a video about buying used figures and like, the whole idea about, is it a good thing to do, and kind of the do's and do nots. So I'm going to use those as the example, like, because I just bought those used. And so kind of maybe help someone who's on the verge of like, because I used to not ever buy used Hot Toys, never did it because I was worried. And so I've dived into that. So I want to make a video about like kind of like the pros and cons and what to look out for when buying used Hot Toys, not necessarily from eBay, just in general, like the thought process. So I might do that. And then Electro, the Hot Toys Spider-Man Electro from No Way Home. I should have that next week, so I'll do a review on that. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
So.
that looks good. That, yeah, I'll keep my eye open for those vids.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. But I thank everybody in the live stream that was here. We had a good turnout, people interacting, which I really like to see. I know, TK, this is kind of new to you doing the streaming thing, so I do really appreciate your time in having a conversation. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to come on and do this. I know we had some concerns about technical issues, possibly stuff like that, but you were great. You sounded great. You look great. Big wall DTOS behind you and those parks. So I'm looking forward to seeing all that. So yep, TK Boy says just subscribe. Looking forward to reviewing the parks. Fantastic.
Yeah, mate,
so,
yeah.
so
Well, no, thanks for coming on the stream. It's been really good. Been good fun chatting to you face to face.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I hope to do it again, man.
Yeah.
I think there's so much more we could talk about. This is just cramming a lot of stuff into a little bit of a stream. So, but like I said, I appreciate everybody in the chat. I really appreciate it. And if you catch us on the replay, I'll have the post up there later. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. And let me leave you guys with I do my little outro videos to kind of help us close out. So I think what I'll do is I'll do my longest one, which is Back to the Future. Do a little Back to the Future. Thank you. Goodbye to everybody. So take care, everybody, and have a great rest of your Sunday. And we'll see you guys in the next videos, whenever that may be. Take care.
See you later.
That's everything. Thanks. Thank you. In about 30 years,